Now, the Tegu diet has to be one of the most diverse diets out there for reptile keeping. Not only are these large lizards, therefore they're going to need large whole prey items while also supplementing with other amounts of proteins. They're also omnivores, meaning a variety of different fruits and veggies, which makes this a very long food list and definitely a video I have been procrastinating to make. However, this is the end of the Tegu Spotlight Week, so I figured we'd go out with a bang and finally make this what's probably going to be a very long video of the complete diet of a Tegu. Let's buckle up, let's get ready, and oh, what was that other thing? Oh, let's roll the intro. Alright, so I think how I'm going to structure this video is we are going to be starting with the baby Tegu diet. You know, everything that usually a baby Tegu is going to eat that not necessarily can eat as an adult. And then after that, we will transition into the adult diet. At that point, we'll be doing a full transition of what all the food lists are, starting from whole prey, down to insects, or proteins, not insects, and then lastly getting to the fruits and veggies that they will eat. So, with all that being said, let's start off with the baby diet. Starting out with a baby Tegu, with them getting not very big, you know, starting around maybe like this large or so. They have the little grin on their head, the adorable stage of a baby Tegu. They're not going to be able to eat a lot of what the adult Tegus need, of course, those whole prey of mice. Well, I'm not going to get into that. We're going to get into that later. We're talking about the babies. The diet I recommend for a baby Tegu is going to be largely protein-based. These are going to things most likely going to be your common insects. The list varies between, you know, crickets, dubia roaches, superworms, mealworms, black soldier fly larvae, silkworms, phoenix worms. I think they're the same thing as black soldier fly larva. Let's see, what else we got? Horned worms. Those are going to be the main ones. A couple of others, of course, going to be any of the roach species. Lobster roaches, red runners, orange head roaches, discords, things like that. Red wigglers even. Those are pretty much going to be your compound for the proteins of the baby Tegu. You can get these at any of the large big box stores. Rainbow mealworms is the first thing that comes in the top of my head just because they seem to have pretty much every insect that you'll ever need. I always recommend feeding a variety of those insects. You know, you're not going to want to just stick with, say, the orange-headed or the red runner roaches and just feed that in particularly. No, you're going to want to have a large diversity of those insects. So feeding a multitude of different things, even combining them. When my guy was a baby, I would throw some crickets in there. I'd have a dish of some super worms, some red runner roaches, or some dubia roaches in there. Always trying to mix it up every time he ate. Not only will this be able to not make your Tegu, you know, stuck on one particular food item as his favorite, to also make sure he's getting all the nutrients that he'll need. Of course, some insects are going to have higher proteins and higher fats, just higher nutritional value comparatively speaking. Something that's compared in like a superworm to a dubia roach. Dubia roach is obviously going to have a lot more protein in it, whereas the superworm, the super roach, we're going to make, you know what guys, I didn't want to spoil it, but in fact, I have done the impossible. I have made a superworm dubia roach hybrid, the super roach. That is the only staple you will ever need to feed a reptile, just a super roach. Getting back into the video, Jesus. Different insects are going to have different nutritional values, so it's always good to feed a large variety of them. While you're feeding the variety of these insects, it is perfectly fine to start transitioning to other protein options as well. This can be something as the lean meat, such as ground turkey, ground chicken. I often supplement it sometimes with eggs, whether that be over easy, boiled, or even scrambled from time to time. Just stuff like this to start getting him accustomed to not live food, so he's not constantly thinking that, oh, well, I gotta chase this food around, why is this food standing still? I don't want it. Now you have to make the eggs run for me. I don't think you guys understand. It's hard to make eggs run, because it's a chicken egg and it's dead. Dead things don't run. Learn something new every day. And lastly, before moving on to the adult diet, I do want to list one little tip I would give new keepers for baby Tegus. Make sure you start supplementing your greens early. It is rather hard getting a Tegu transition, well, at least some Tegus to transition from eating just proteins into greens. Quick little life Tegu hack I have. That was dumb. That was Tegu. What the fuck was that? A little tip I have is when you're feeding those lean ground meats, is actually mixing some either like collard greens, carrots, squash, anything like that. mixing it into almost like a Tegu meatball with those greens in there kind of tricks the Tegu into eating and actually transitioning to getting a taste for what greens are. All right, well, we went over into, you know, what the babies are gonna eat, got a little bit into that, but now your Tegu's like 4 feet long. Is that gonna be able to eat a little cricket? That thing, you're gonna have to feed him 1,000 crickets before he gets full. It's time to get into the adult Tegu diet. So starting off with the adult Tegu diet, let's get into the whole prey options. I have my handy dandy list right here, so I don't forget anything and I don't tongue tie myself by saying, oh, what's the other one? Yeah, we don't have to go through that. So there is a multitude of whole prey items you can feed. This is going into stuff such as crawfish, baby chicks, something that isn't so often, but maybe even frogs or feeder geckos and lizards. Some of the more common stuff is usually gonna be like pinky mice, fuzzies, hoppers, to large mice eventually, even the small rat or the rat pups would work. And then lastly, just some other stuff, again, like toads, frogs, feeder lizard, and geckos. While these are gonna be a little rare and more of a little difficulty to find, they will make a large variety into the diet. But hey, whole prey is just a part of the Tegu's diet. Going into now, we can actually substitute with not just feeding whole prey, but also some different variety of meats. Hey, that's pretty cool, but Dakota, what meats can you feed? Well, if we look at the handy dandy list right here, we'll be able to figure that out. Just like earlier, we were talking about eggs. You can still feed eggs to an adult Tegu, just feed them more eggs. Again, something that's either like hard-boiled or scrambled works great. Some of the raw ground meats, as you know, chicken, turkey, lamb, venison, beef, not so often, but it can be used in a scratch if this is a scenario where you're like out of something and you just have beef on hand, you can use it. However, beef is pretty fatty and it's a pretty harsh meat, so I would definitely stick towards more of the leaner options. Getting a little bit more into the meats are of course going to be the organ meats that you can feed. These things are going to be a multitude of, you know, gizzards, hearts, livers, chicken, turkey, anything like that. If you're not sure where you can source organic or organ meats, this isn't usually going to be something you can find simply at a Walmart. Usually your local butchery will be happy to give you some. You can usually find it a little cheaper. Also the meats, well, really most of this stuff you can get pretty cheap at your local butcher versus something like a Walmart or a Market Basket or a Market Street if you don't live in New England. Hannaford's as well. If you shop at Hannaford's, you're pretty rich. I don't know. Whole Foods is another one. I guess we're just naming grocery. I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing right now? And then lastly, you can substitute with some seafood options. These are going to be a couple different types of fish, scallops, also shrimps. For some reason, while reading this list, they put crab as a feeding option, which it's not false. I mean, you could feed your Tegu crab. Are you gonna feed your Tegu crab? Because if you are out there and you're feeding your Tegu crab, can you ship some to me? Because I enjoy crab and I don't know, I can't afford crab to feed myself. I don't know who's out there that is affording, you know, the snow crab and lobster for their Tegu. That is one pampered pet, I guess. But hold on there, viewer, we're only halfway done with this list. Yep, I know, this video feels like it's been going on forever, but we're only halfway done. Now that we got done with the meats and protein options, of course with Tegus being omnivores, we have to get into the veggies and fruits. Let's get into it. Okie dokie, getting into veggies and fruits. First thing to mention before we even get into this list, of course, when you're talking about veggies for fruits, it is more important to lean towards a higher veggie to fruit ratio, supplementing with more of staple greens and things like that with veggies, and just adding a little bit fruit for an added variety. A lot of these fruits aren't really good as a staple and really shouldn't be fed as such, just more in moderation. With that being said, there is a large variety of veggies you can feed your Tegu. So much so that I don't really want to keep going baffling on and on about it, so I think I'm just going to read through this list. The list is going to be right here for your guys' convenience if you want to read through the rest, and really go into the big ones that you can feed. So this is going to be things like bell peppers, butternut squash, collard greens, dandelion greens. Those greens can be used as a great staple, the collard and dandelions. Other things to note, such as like green beans, leeks, mustard greens are another great choice, radish, snap peas, turnip greens, yucca. What the fuck is a yucca root? Tough, should be shredded. So I guess if you get the yucca root, wherever the fuck that is, you also have to shred it. Zucchini is another great option. There's some other veggies you can feed in moderation. I'll put that list right there for you. However, it just doesn't seem like there's such a wide variety of greens that are a lot better. I don't really understand, like, there's enough greens that you can feed as a staple that'll be fine to give a variety. You don't really need to add a variety of that using these that are high in different things that cannot be beneficial to your Tegu. Almost lost it there, almost lost my train of thought, but I think we saved it in the end. Alright, rounding down this list, we are going to be talking about the fruits now. Again, just like the veggies, I'll put the list right here for all of them. Some of them should be fed in only moderation, so feed at your own digression. Make sure you read the list, things like that. But we'll be talking about some of the ones that I feed personally. A multitude of berries, such as blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, cherries, let's see, dates, fresh or dried. Sorry, that's figs. Figs was the word we were looking for, not dates. Some other good options are honeydew, kiwi, mango, melons, papaya, pumpkins, and even watermelons. Woo! That's a lot of fruits! There's also some other things like Concord grapes. I've never heard what a Concord grape is. Is that like part of the grape family? Apparently apples in moderation. It doesn't list why they should be fed in moderation, but it does state that. Bananas are also one that says moderation because the peels can be fed if grown organic. No, that's not the reason. It just says you can also feed the peel. I don't know why you would feed the peel of a banana to a tegu, but apparently you can, only if it's organic. If it's some of that Walmart shit, you can forget about it, but you going for your local farm? Go ahead, feed them that banana peel. I guess. I don't know. Then one last thing to mention before we finish up this video is going to be the fact that they list breads in the diet. Cooked pasta or rice, whole wheat bread, or lentils cooked. I don't. Bread? Strange. I guess maybe. Breads. I guess you can feed them breads. But don't worry, viewer, before we go, of course I will answer that controversial question, the one that always brings up the debate when it comes to diet for tegus. Can or cannot tegus eat dog food? What I just said made absolutely no sense. The dog food debate is always a good one. There's always two sides of this, of people saying, dog food, that's for dogs. That's why it says dog food, not tegu food, so don't feed it. And now, while that is some very airtight logic, because due to the fact that tegus are not dogs, they are reptiles, so really, it's hard to counter that argument. Being said, I think dog food's okay in moderation and part of a variety of the diet. Just make sure you're using a high quality form of dog food, none of that Purina crap or science diet crap, or I can't remember the other ones, but the other ones that are crap, get a high quality one. I guess this will be the judge of it. If it costs less than $1.50, it's probably crap. Check the ingredients on the back. You can always see what's good or what's not. I'll keep it up here, digression. Some say you can feed them, some say you don't. I said yes in this video, so I don't know, man. Just do what you want to do. And there you go, boys and girls, the complete food list you can feed tegus. Some of you are probably wondering, Dakota, you weren't that enthusiastic. Some people are probably like, Dakota, you didn't seem that enthusiastic in this video. Well, I don't know, man. How pumped can you get when you're just talking about food to feed a reptile? It's not very fun to talk about. I'd much rather be wrangling tokes right now, but you gotta give them what the viewers want, and what the viewers want is lists of food that they can feed their tegu. So that's why we're here, I guess. Alright, outro time. If you liked the video, please feel free to give us a thumbs up. If you want to see some more of my animals or my breeding products, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, DBCB Exotics. We're also on TikTok. Please, if you could follow me on TikTok, I'd really appreciate it. We are so close to hitting 10,000 followers, and that would be absolutely fantastic. Other than that, of course, if you want to see some cool t-shirt designs like these two right here, that'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool to own them. You can find that in the description. Teespring, where we also have Patreon. Patreon.com/DBCBExotics. You get the premium content such as animals I get in and pictures I take before anyone else gets to see them. You get up-to-date updates on my breeding products. Of course, we have a lot going on at DBCB Exotics, and you get the first to know when gecko eggs are hatching, lizard eggs are doing stuff, snakes are coming out of snakes, stuff like that. It all sounds pretty cool. Do you want to see a snake coming out of a snake? All you gotta do is go down there at patreon.com. It's as little as $1 a month starting. That's pretty good. Different tiers for different folks. It's all a swell thing. I'm out of energy now. This video has been incredibly boring for me to make. I gotta go play with some tokes or something because my energy is just at zero. So let's roll the intro. Roll it on out. Okay, I'm hoping I can make him run back into the enclosure without him trying to bite.